we're going to start at the beginning here, okay? Now, obviously, there's been a massive event. You know, Blizzard has gotten sued, and J. Allen Brack, the individual himself, you think you do, but you don't. Unfortunately, at Blizzard, it was you think you don't, but you do. Hello, Blizzard. I personally have a lot of emotions coming out yesterday, and I know you do too. The allegations of the hurt and current former employees are extremely troubling. I know that many of you would like to receive more clarity, and while I can't comment on the specifics of the case as it's an open investigation, what I can say is that the behavior detailed in the allegations is completely unacceptable. It goes without saying that it's completely unacceptable for anyone in the company to face discrimination or harassment. It goes without saying that everyone should feel safe working here, whether we are on campus, at BlizzCon, or working from home. It goes without saying that it takes courage to come forward, and all claims brought to the company are investigated by internal, when needed, external external investigators. Yes, that's right. Despite your lack of cooperation, that is true. We take these claims very seriously. Claims can be made without fear of retaliation, and many times I attend to them personally. Well, that's how you patted down the Alex FFXIV thing, is you talked to him personally and you thought you solved the problem, and you didn't. So that is true. That part actually is true. Along with our other leaders. Absolutely. When I talked with Bobby about taking his job, one of the first things that I mentioned was a revered saint of the Brack household, Gloria Steinem. I don't know who this is. I'm gonna be who is Gloria Steinem? I don't even know who this is. American feminist journalist and social political activist who is nationally recognized as a leader of an American spokesman movement. Okay. So, all right. I don't know really what to say. It's kind of random. It's kind of random, yeah, sure, but it just seems like it doesn't really matter. Growing up, the value of women as equals, understanding the work that had to be done for equal treatment, and the fact that there was still much to do were common themes. This is just one of the reasons why the fight for equality is incredibly important for me. People with different backgrounds, views, and experiences are essential for Blizzard, our teams, and our player community. I disdain bro culture, and I have spent my career fighting it. Bro culture can mean a lot of things. It does not necessarily have to mean molesting women at the workplace. I understand that this is some sort of bad thing or whatever. Yes, of course it is. This is bro culture. Here's why I don't like this phrase bro culture. It's a phrase that means something different for everyone. For some people, bro culture means living in a frat house and getting drunk all night. And for other people, it means going and being really hands-on with women, etc. This is a bullshit statement. Bro culture is not what people really have a problem with. People really have a problem with touching and trying to kiss women without their consent. Bro culture is just a word that you're attaching to it. Talk about the actual thing rather than creating this effigy that you can act like you're going up against and putting up a feminist icon towards male versus female. Because there's a lot of these circumstances that affect men too. Not just with this, but with the bad conditions of customer service, etc. And they're just ignoring that because that was a huge fucking component to it. And it's being completely ignored with this idea that this is a complete, this is not a feminism issue only. And of course, obviously, it seems like it primarily is, but that doesn't mean it's the whole thing. Integrating on our culture with the same intensity that we bring to our games is imperative. And with our values acting as our North Star, this is some of the most important work we do, both as professional and human beings. A company is more than a legal construct that exists as a piece of paper in a filing cabinet in Delaware. The people that work at the company also make it what it is through their actions and creations. Each of us plays a role in maintaining a place of safety for one another, and it is also up to each of us to continue to craft the Blizzard that we want and to commit to doing our part in keeping Blizzard great, but always aspiring for more. That's nice. I mean, these are nice statements, right? But whenever you have the juxtaposition of the people that work at the company make it what it is, and then people get fired from the company in mass numbers, then what's the company? You see what I'm saying? And you have people leaving, lead developers, and obviously it seems like, yes, some of these people have been leaving for sexual harassment and things that are completely legitimate. They shouldn't be leaving the company. They should be leaving public life into jail. However, that does not necessarily mean that many other people do not leave for other reasons. The leadership team and I will be meeting with many of you to answer questions and discuss how we can move forward. In the meantime, I want you to know that you can talk to any manager, any HR partner, any member of the legal team, or to anyone on the executive team, including Hey Jay. Okay, it's him. If you feel more comfortable talking to someone outside of Blizzard or prefer to be anonymous, you can contact the Way to Play Integrity line. I feel angry, sad, and a host of other emotions. I also feel grateful to work alongside a set of leaders and thousands of employees who will join me in their commitment to continuous improvement. Thank you, Blizzard. Jab. Yes, thank you, Blizzard. Thank you so much. So I think this statement could have, it could have been better. Let's just say that it could have been better. I think that if I was to rate this statement, like if there was a Warcraft logs for this statement, it would be a pretty much like a low tier green parse. Would not be very good. And I obviously, here's really what I believe, okay? And this is really the truth. This is what I really believe about J. Allen Brack. I have never really met a person that has really, really long hair and they're fucking 50 years old who is like a super corporate piece of shit asshole. I actually don't think J. Allen Brack is a huge asshole. I don't think a lot of this really, I don't think he is a really bad guy. I think that the truth is that the odds are, this is what I'm expecting. He is in over his fucking head. He inherited a bunch of problems because a lot of this stuff, and I hate to say it, but a lot of this stuff happened under Mike Morhaime. And a lot of these people were hired from there. And he's taking the fall for a lot of this. Now, obviously, some of it is his fault, and it's his responsibility. Absolutely. But a lot of this shit did happen under Mike Morhaime. Now, how much did Mike know about it? I don't know. He probably knew too much and he did too little. That's what I'm assuming. Now, he made a statement too. We're going to read that. He was also complicit. I think that obviously, I'm not going to say that somebody was complicit because I don't know that. I don't know what happened. I have no idea. The report said that he knew. I know that he knew. But what I'm saying is that the person that he knew did the thing that was wrong no longer works at the company. I don't know why that person does not work at the company, but what I do know is that this is the Alex Afrasabi thing. He knew this was happening, and that person no longer works at the company. Did J. Allen Brack have something to do with that? I don't know that. But I'm just saying, based off of the way that he's acted and the things that he's said and the things that I've heard from people that work there, it does not seem like J. Allen Brack is this evil corporate overlord that is doing all this. I think that he's in over his head. He's inherited a huge mess. Like, let's just think about this. J. Allen Brack, October 4th, 2018. So this was a little bit over 2 years ago. The reality is that he inherited almost all of this stuff. This investigation was started probably right about the same time. No, think about it. This investigation started whenever he fucking had brown hair, and now he has white hair. Imagine inheriting the company. You get promoted up to fucking president, and within probably 6 months of you getting promoted up to fucking president, immediately you have a fucking investigation by the state of California that's telling you that people are getting fucking molested and people are going to jail. Yes, literally black and white. You're goddamn right his hair is gray. You're goddamn fucking right. 2 years, this guy's aged in 20. The shit was happening all the way back in Diablo 2 days. He should resign. I don't necessarily know if he should resign. The reason why I think that I think that there is a high probability that J. Allen Brack will step down as president or potentially leave the company. I think that's a very, very high probability. So let's go back up here. And there's also been another Activision Blizzard executive. Now, usually I want to say this. This is very common. Whenever things are like this, having two messages from executive leadership is very common. This one right here. So this right here is what happens, because whenever you're having two executive leadership people giving similar but different statements. Almost always, whenever a company does something like this, they put out one large statement, and that's about it. So this does kind of worry me. It definitely does. So this is a statement made by newly hired Activision Blizzard executive Fran Townsend, sent out an email which called the sexual harassment and discrimination lawsuit meritless and irresponsible, distorted, or untrue. I'm going to read this one, and then I'm going to read the post from Mike Morhaime. Everyone. As an executive sponsor of the ABK Employee Women's Network and our chief compliance officer, I want to reach out to you. I know this has been difficult for many of us. A recently filed lawsuit presented a distorted and untrue picture of the company, including factually incorrect, old, and out-of-context stories, some from more than a decade ago. The Activision companies of today, the Activision companies that I know, are great companies with good values. When I joined the executive leadership team, I was certain that I was joining a company where I would be valued, treated with respect, and provided opportunities equal to those afforded by men of the company. To me, this has been true during my time. As a leader, I am committed to making sure that the experience that I have is the same as the rest of the organization. We have the same leadership team that is committed to these principles in every way. She didn't work at the company whenever these things happened. So she's clearly going off of what people are telling her because she wasn't there when it happened. You see what I'm saying? So this seems a little bit odd. She came in 4 months ago. Wait, she's been in there for 4 months? Wow. Well, thank God. Thank God we have her to set things straight. Yeah, that's great. Yeah, well, in these 4 months that I've been at the company, I haven't been molested. Well, I guess that means it never happened. I mean, obviously, right? I mean, because if it would have happened, it would have happened the first, day, right? I mean, it had to be, the first week or so. At what level? Oh, my God. That's what I call damage control? Yeah, exactly. I have no doubt that she was probably treated exactly fairly and just given every opportunity possible. Absolutely. I mean, she worked for the fucking president back in 2004, 2007, right? A Homeland Security Advisor, George W. Bush. Of course they're going to treat her with fucking respect. No shit. She'd bomb them if they didn't. Let's go ahead and look at this other stuff. I'm so proud to be a part of a company that takes a hardline approach to inappropriate or hostile work environments and sexual harassment issues. Our Speak Up campaign reinforces our zero tolerance for retaliation against those who do speak up. We've made significant investments to foster our inclusive behaviors and to reflect greater diversity within our leadership teams, including investing in strengthening and DI employee networks. Bring together all of our business units. Yeah. Introducing learning and development programs, including inclusive hiring, training, amplifying internal programs such as Way to Play Heroes and recurring Speak Up campaign, reinforcing channels for employees to report violations, including the Ask List, introducing an employee relations team dedicated to investigating employee concerns, continuing to require all employees take equality and diversity training, including anti-harassment training. So this is pretty much the kind of stuff that you would expect that you expect people to say. Yes, anti-harassment training. This is usually the reason why a lot of these companies do anti-harassment training. It's not really because they believe in it. It's because so they can have plausible deniability and they can remove accountability from themselves and they're not as legally liable whenever something bad happens. Because if they have an anti-harassment campaign and they have this training, then they can at least say, well, we did this, so we're actively working against this in the company, so it's not as much our fault whenever it happens. So I don't believe this shit at all. We put tremendous effort in creating fair compensation policies that reflect our commitment to equal opportunity. We review compensation regularly and feel confident that we pay all employees fairly or equal substantially or substantially similar work. We take proactive steps to ensure that pay and advancement are driven by merit. We reward performance and conduct extensive anti-discrimination trainings, including for those who are part of the compensation process. Now, I think this is obviously a good thing to say, but I mean, it just seems like that's not what's been happening. This is the compensation process is getting honor points, 100%. They also get gold stars, and sometimes they get a second break, or actually, sorry, I mean a first break. Let's go over here and we're going to look at the last comment. We work at a company that truly values equality and fairness. Rest assured that leadership is committed to continuing to maintain a God damn it, I'm so bad at this. A safe, fair, and inclusive workplace. We cannot let egregious actions of others and truly meritless and irresponsible lawsuit damage our culture of respect and equal opportunity for all employees. We aspire in our company to do great things in our games and in our impact in society and in our work environment. We continue to hold firm in our principles and invest in what we have. We remain committed to leadership that team is doing what's right. So, what do people think about this individual making this comment? This is a person, this is the guy. This is one of the guys that writes the story for a while. I'm going to read his comments about it. Like many of you, our team's been going through a mix of outrage and sorrow and hurt. Been listening to one another, looking after our friends, and finding new ways to support and care for each other. Now we've got to roll up our sleeves and fix this shit as a company and as an industry. I'm not talking about platitudes and corporate bullshit statements. I'm talking about friends and colleagues working together to pull out evil by its roots. It's important to you, and it's important to us. But right now, I gotta get back to my friends. So he actually, yeah, I mean, a pizza, that is actually a good pizza. I would eat that pizza. Well, one last thing I'm saying to defend, I'm not saying this to defend any company or industry facade. Don't speak up for companies, speak up for people. And our team is amazing, wonderful people that need support right now. That's what I'm gonna focus on today. That's great. So there are a lot of people who work for Blizzard who are even saying that this is bullshit. There are people who work there who are like, this is fucking, yeah, fucking right. So anyway, I want to go back and I'm going to look at the next comment here. Now, this is also this is a small aside here. Warcraft 3 Reforged. But the project was never a priority for the company, in part because the remaster of an old strategy game has little chance of becoming the type of billion-dollar product that Activision wanted, according to people who asked not to be named because they weren't authorized to speak on company matters. With Blizzard pressured to focus on its biggest franchises, Warcraft 3 Reforged couldn't get the ambitious budget that its leaders wanted. So this literally seems like Activision Blizzard, primarily Activision leadership, literally fucking sucked the life out of Warcraft 3, and that's why it's reforged, or sorry, that's why it's refunded and not reforged. That's sad, man. It really is. It's a business decision. Come on, man. No, I disagree with that. I think that if you're going to re-release a product like this, you should, it should be a business decision. Here's what should be a business decision. The business decision should be that you are fucking Blizzard. You have a 30-year history of bringing out absolute fucking amazing games. Yeah, you've had some fuck-ups, but the overall majority of the games that you brought out are amazing fucking games. And the reality of this is that every time that a game like this comes out, people can say, accept this. Do you want people to say, accept this, whenever they're talking about all the good things about your company? Absolutely not. You shouldn't do it. If you're not willing, if you are a company, a AAA developer, you should not invest money into something if you're gonna go half dick on it. You have to go full dick. Blizzard chose to plow ahead with a premature release of Warcraft 3 Reforged, largely because it had been already taken pre-orders from players. According to people familiar with the decision, the company couldn't bump the game too much more without potentially being forced to send out refunds, and risking that fans wouldn't buy the game again. Higher-ups went so far as to remove re-recorded voice acting and revised scripts that intended to put Warcraft 3's characters in line with the current lore of World of Warcraft. Original Warcraft 3 developer David Frade, who'd been brought back on the team to help with development and Resurrected, clearly sees Activision as the driving force of failure. I'm deeply disappointed that Activision would actively work against the interests of all players in the manner that they did. The internal team postmortem, sourced by Schreier, goes on to blame Blizzard leadership for the project's failure, not allocating resources, etc. This is actually really not, this is not particularly exciting here. This is basically the parent company rammed this project through. They had no fucking idea what they wanted to do with it, and then they put it out even though it wasn't ready because they didn't want to lose the pre-order money. That's basically where we're at. It's not that exciting. It's not really that much of a point of view. There's nothing unique about this. There's no discussion about this at all. It's just that Blizzard fucked up. That's about it. Now let's look at the Mike Morhaime statement. Former Blizzard and co-founder Mike Morhaime shared his thoughts on Activision Blizzard lawsuit, apologizing for his failings of old employees. So this is the statement that was made by Mike Morhaime himself. I've read the full complaint against Blizzard Activision Blizzard. and many other stories. It's all very disturbing and difficult to read. I am ashamed. It feels like everything that I thought I stood for has been washed away. What's worse, but even more important, real people have been harmed and some women have had terrible experiences. I was at Blizzard for 28 years. During that time, I tried very hard to create an environment that was safe and welcoming for all people and genders and backgrounds. I knew that it was not perfect, but we were very far off from that goal. The fact that so many women were mistreated and were not supported means that we let them down. In addition, we did not succeed in making it feel safe for people to tell their truth. It is no consolation that other companies have faced similar challenges. I wanted us to be different, be better. Harassment and discrimination exist. They're prevalent in our industry. It's the responsibility of leadership to keep all employees feeling safe, supported, and treated equitably, regardless of gender and background. It is the responsibility of leadership to stamp out toxicity and harassment in any form across all levels of the company. To the Blizzard women who experience any of those things, I am extremely sorry that I failed you. I realize that these are just words, but I want to acknowledge that the women who had awful experiences, I hear you, I believe you, and I am so sorry to have let you down. I want to hear your stories if you're willing to share them. As a leader in our industry, I can and I will use my influence to drive positive change and to combat misogyny, discrimination, harassment, wherever I can. I believe that we can do better, and I believe gaming industry can be a place where women and minorities are welcomed, included, supported, recognized, rewarded, and ultimately unimpeded from the opportunity to make the types of contributions that all of us joined this industry to make. I want the mark that I leave on this industry to do something that I'm proud of, Mike. I do think that this definitely has a different vibe. Now, obviously, because these two people work at the company, they probably cannot actually admit fault based off of just the way that the company works, right? You can't say that you did certain things wrong. That's just the reality of these types of situation, right? PR versus PR. Well, this is more personal PR, and I do think that it's good that he's taken accountability for it. Right? Obviously, it doesn't mean that it's okay, right? A lot of this stuff happened under his watch. I'm sure he was aware of a lot of it, and he let it happen. He fucked up, absolutely. But it's definitely better than saying that the people that are saying it are lying, okay? That's all I'm really trying to say. It is slightly better. I think Mike probably did sweep some of this stuff under the rug. I do. I think he probably downplayed it. And he seems like the kind of guy to think, oh, well, you know, my friend would never do that. Oh, that's not what happened. Oh, there's no way it's that bad, right? And try to, like, convince himself that it wasn't like that. And obviously, that's just not the right approach to have. And even if it is the right approach to have, you have to have that counterbalance by somebody who actually is unbiased, right? You can't have that be the only approach to have. So I think that he was complicit in some of this, absolutely. Was he the person doing it? No. But again, it's his responsibility for these things not to happen. So, Josh Allen, one of the community managers for WoW, this is what he said. If I'd known this was happening, I would have stopped it, says the man who was told repeatedly that it was happening and did nothing to stop it. I've refrained from giving my own comments on the situation at Activision because, frankly, there are more important people you should be listening to. But that statement from a certain former leader was 100% bullshit, and I'm furious about it. He knew, he did nothing. Don't get me wrong, current leadership is fucking up hard right now too, but please don't for a second think that the culture that allowed all this to happen for the last couple of decades was somehow built by the guy who's been in charge for 3 years. And he's right. He's right. Like, J. Allen Brack, like, as I said, man, he inherited such a mess that in 2 years, his hair went from this to this. 2 years. Okay? Yeah, he inherited a fucking mess. That doesn't mean that he wasn't responsible for not cleaning it up. But we're comparing 3 years versus 28. So let's go back over. We're going to look at Mike Morhaime's tweet. People said some of the replies were important. Taking responsibility and apologizing for your role is paramount, Mike, and I really appreciate it. When things got really bad in BNet, many of us felt abandoned by you. And what's worse, we got threatened with physical harm and panic CC'd you about it. I was later reprimanded for doing that, completely ignoring how terrified I was for that my trying to save someone's life had somehow put my job in jeopardy. And that I was going to be assaulted at a work event because of it. I felt like I was never given any grace. Many men in leadership positions being repeatedly excused for their behavior and not being made to feel that sexual harassment was being made to feel that sexual harassment was totally normal and not that bad. and even a compliment because of how normalized it was in BNet and WoW. When I think back specifically on how many women Sabi harassed and assaulted, myself included. Jesus Christ, this guy gets around. Holy fuck. And how many people are traumatized by this individual. I don't know what his, I can't say his name. Talks about Pierce's EA had for so many years. It's hard for me to think that you couldn't have enabled it. The investigation's been ongoing for 2 years. You left the company 2 years ago. How did you not know? Of course he knew. Of course he knew. Everybody knows that. There's no way he didn't know. I'm gonna play this real quick, and I want to talk about this just for a few minutes, and there's some other things that I want to talk about as well, okay? Let me pause the music here. I felt dirty playing the WoW music. It's weird, man. Like, it's like I almost don't want to play the WoW music because of the situation. I don't know how long I'm gonna feel that way for. Maybe a little bit longer. It kind of just depends, man. But like, that's really the way that I feel. It sucks.
Let's watch. I've been seeing some shit today on Twitter, and I wanted to make a quick video about it. Obviously, there's been some disgusting, despicable, sad, disappointing shit that's happened today at Blizzard. And many people, in the most disappointing way, have used this information as a means to have a weapon to harass current Blizzard employees and people that are content creators at Blizzard. There are people who are saying that you should quit your job, you should stop streaming World of Warcraft, and I'll be honest, I feel like these opinions and these things that they're saying, and the fact that they use this as a rationalization to harass these individuals, is the pinnacle of the word that I hate to use. It's the pinnacle of privilege.
True.
I do. People relocated sometimes their whole family across the country to go work at Blizzard Entertainment. They might not have had a single fucking thing to do with this stuff in this court case, and you expect them to quit their job? Especially some of these women that are actually the victims of this, expect them to quit their job because of this situation? Abso-fucking-lutely not.
That's ridiculous.
I understand if you want to boycott it. I understand if you don't want to buy Blizzard products or support Blizzard stuff. I totally get it. But the reality is that whenever you take that lack of support and you turn that into an abundance of harassment, that's whenever you are the problem.
That's so true.
Please let the government, let the people that have done a 2-year investigation on this deliver justice.
Absolutely.
Not you and your Twitter account writing mean tweets to somebody that doesn't fucking deserve them.
True.
The reality about the Twitch streamers, the content creators, is that many of these people, for WoW especially, these are one-game Andes. These are people that are barely making it by streaming World of Warcraft. They go to another game, their stream's gonna be fucking dead.
And you know it, I know it,
everybody fucking knows it. And I don't think that it's fair to ask and expect somebody to throw away their career because of something that they had nothing to fucking do with. Please let these people, let the people that are actually doing the investigation, that actually have the power to enact actual justice, do this job for you.
Absolutely.
You don't need to go on there and go on your own fucking personal crusade. You don't
no
need to
crusaders
hold up whatever
allowed.
you believe is the right decision. Guys, I have to say this because I know that a lot of people in my community know this. Of course they do, because I've been talking about it all day. But the reality is that there's a lot of other people that are bad actors that look for any excuse to harass somebody.
Anything.
And the saddest thing is they're looking at this fucking at this court case about women being taken advantage of, and they're using it as an excuse to take advantage and harass women.
It's
so guys,
sad.
Please don't do that.
It is.
It's disgusting. Let people make their own decisions, and don't harass them into anything. If you want to boycott, do it personally, but don't force that on other people. Anyway, it's just a video I had to say, and it's pretty much all I've got. So, peace.